What's up, everybody? We're going to talk about advertiser bullying in this video. We're going to talk about Dana White, who's the president of UFC. We're going to talk about Elon Musk, who's the richest man in the world. Both of these guys have told advertisers to go themselves. So I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but very recently, Elon Musk was on a talk show. He did get some heat for saying something potentially anti-Semitic. Actually, he potentially liked something that was anti-Semitic, I believe. Someone said something that the Jews are bad for white people or white population. Comment below what exactly he said, but it was something along the lines where this gave advertisers an excuse to potentially not advertise with Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, Elon Musk had to buy Twitter based on his contract or lose $1 billion. I believe he got investors to buy it or sold Tesla shares to buy it as well. And he converted Twitter to X, which is going to be kind of an all-around platform. And I think it's going to be great. I do appreciate freedom of speech, even though people don't like opinions and so forth. I'm on the side of someone has the right to say something, and I'm on the side of fair game for elections, for competitions, debates, and I don't get mad at people based on the way they vote or don't vote or any of that, and I don't care. But Elon Musk very recently was on this show. Check this out right now. We're going to play it.
Apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about
Elon, as you could see in that video, was pretty angry. He told advertisers to go, and the reason he said it is because advertisers accused him of anti-Semitism. They have accused him, said that they can't advertise on a platform such as X, and X has lost quite a lot of advertisers since he has taken over Twitter already. So when they find an excuse to not advertise on the platform, Comcast, Apple, Disney, these are companies that are CBS, et cetera, that would advertise on X. And once they found another excuse to not advertise on X, they basically said, hey, it's because of anti-Semitism. So he told the advertisers to go F themselves. And he said, you heard me, F yourselves. And then he specifically called out Bob. Now, Bob Iger, I believe, is who he was calling out. He is the CEO of Disney.
I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
I do have tremendous respect for Bob Iger. I think he's done a lot for Disney to grow it as a brand. However, Disney has fallen into some abyss lately, trying to promote gender ideology and all this crap that I hate when it's being shoved in your face or your kids' face. However, Bob, as a CEO, is a very interesting man and successful man, but him and Elon seem to be having a beef. So he basically told advertisers to go F themselves. Am I being clear? And he called out Bob, which is pretty bold. Now, typically, that's not the behavior of a top CEO or the world's richest man, which is very interesting. That's more aligned of the behavior of Donald Trump, who's also a top positioned president, which some people hate. And to me, I don't know if a CEO should talk like that, especially in public. It seemed like Elon Musk has lost his cool, but I think what's happening is people in his position, and that includes Dana White in this context that we're going to discuss, and share your thoughts below as well. They're kind of fed up with being told what to do. They don't like to be blackmailed or called and said, hey, if you don't remove your post, I'm not going to advertise with you, or one company bullying or pushing the other company. It looks like what's happening. So comment below if you agree with that. Like, I totally thought that Elon Musk to come out and do that was a GOAT-like move. And when I say GOAT-like, I mean Michael Jordan GOAT-like, where he is the greatest of all time. Personally, he doesn't want to get pushed around. He says, don't blackmail me with money. He's really tried to do better for society, in my opinion, with X. Challenging opinion, of course, or an opinion that could be challenged and debated, but you could comment below. But, don't blackmail him. And that's what he said. And I think that carried so much weight in his frustration and venting his frustration that I am hoping it kind of sparks other people that are afraid to speak out to come out in powerful positions and say enough is enough. Like, we can advertise who we want. We can talk about who we want. People shouldn't be scared. This is America, to talk about things that they find to be a challenge, that they find to be thoughtful conversation versus a finger pointing, blaming, ending of relationships. And that's kind of what America has come to ever since the days of 2020. So kudos to Elon Musk. I personally support him. I think that was ballsy. I think it was totally appropriate. Some of the things, and maybe calling someone out directly was inappropriate. He must have been really pissed at Bob Iger. And I think it's Bob Iger. Comment below if you think it's Bob Iger. But, he's not the only one. And in fact, I believe Dana White beat him to it. He came on a podcast. I don't know whose podcast, but it's a famous guy. And Dana White literally said that he got a phone call on his personal channel after endorsing Donald Trump or saying he would vote for him, or he had Donald Trump on his Instagram. An advertiser called and said, if you don't remove Donald Trump from your personal Instagram account, now this is not even a company Instagram account, it's a personal, like the UFC didn't flat out say we support Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump is walking out all the time at UFC events and people are cheering. And you see him walking out at many events. And when he walks out at other events, football games, etc., people tend to be cheering. And although there may be some boos, it's hard to hear the boos. But Dana White, who has a set of cojones on him, who's someone also I admire in terms of leadership and going against the norm or doing what he feels is right, kept the UFC open during COVID. He kept pushing to promote the UFC. In fact, I think the UFC has grown because he took a different approach than, say, the NFL and the NBA, which try to walk on eggshells around sensitivity and COVID and masks and all this. Dana White really pushed the envelope to say, hey, we're going to move on. We're going to continue. Kept it open. Donald Trump supposedly has been a friend of a long time before the UFC got big, invested in the UFC and tried to promote the UFC. And he has stuck with Donald Trump and put up a post on his personal channel only to get a call, to get threatened that an advertiser would pull the plug.
Personal social media. And one of our big sponsors called and said, take that down. You know what I said? Go fuck yourself. Yeah. You vote for whoever you want to vote for, and I'll vote for whoever I want to vote for. That's how this works. I don't even care who you're voting for. It's none of my fucking business. Don't ever fucking call me and tell me who to vote for.
Yeah.
As you could see in that video, Dana White was angry. He said, fuck off. He basically told that advertiser to go fuck themselves as well. And when he said that, overall, it kind of created, I believe, some fire in Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk had to hear about this as well, where Elon also said, F this, I'm not answering to you. I'm like, if you want to take your money elsewhere, go ahead. And to me, that says a lot about both of those characters and individuals and their characteristics of who they are as leaders. They're leaders, natural leaders, and that's why they have such successful companies, multiples of them. Dana White was not having it. He basically told to F off. And he said, hey, I'm not having any of this. You don't call my channel. What he said also I thought was very crucial and very important, because during this whole who are you voting for, I'm judging you based on who you vote for ideology is kind of ridiculous. And it goes both ways. It's not just one way. I mean, people in Texas will judge you the other way, and people in San Francisco or Portland will judge you the other way. And I think it's kind of, I think it's the wrong way to judge a person. I think you got to look at work ethic, and you got to look at how they treat their family, how they treat women, how they treat their significant other, their kids, etc. I think that's a better way to judge someone's character than just simply who you voted for. And that's what Dana White said. He said, hey, this is America. We should be able to vote for who we want to vote for. It's none of your business who you vote for. I don't want to know. It shouldn't be your business who I vote for. It shouldn't even matter. That doesn't like judge me as a character, doesn't judge me as a leader in my company. That's what he's implying to. And good for him for standing up. I do feel that if the country gets more people to stand up for what they truly believe in, we're not going to be as afraid to speak up, because Dana White can speak up. I don't think Dana White can get canceled. Same with someone like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan could speak up. They tried to cancel him. It didn't work. Remember, people were putting out protesting Spotify, cancel your Spotify subscriptions. This is when Joe Rogan just signed the biggest deal in podcasting history at $100 million plus. People wanted him canceled. Because he didn't go along with the narrative, right? Dana White is standing against that, and he can't get canceled because he's running one of the most successful sports franchises out right now. Now, although he's got some competition coming out with PFL and their investments from Dubai, overall, I do think the UFC is the staple for combat sports. He can say it, but you and I, or someone that's smaller, or even someone in the work office that's afraid to speak up, they're really afraid because they could lose their job, their livelihood, etc. Even people on YouTube, if they get into politics, you could be put in some window, in my opinion, that could potentially hurt your viewerships. So overall, I personally wanted to share this video because I'm so proud of these two individuals, and I do want to see more CEOs come out and say, hey, enough is enough. Don't tell us what to do. And don't make this a spectacle of not advertising or not. The last thing I want to add, X, which is formerly Twitter, was multiple times have they tried to not advertise on X, right? But the last time was very interestingly timed with China's visits and APEC here in San Francisco. All of the top CEOs had a meeting with President Xi Jinping, and the next day, all of a sudden, this Twitter thing comes out, or like the day right after, this X thing of no advertising and so forth. Now, all the top-level CEOs, including Steve Cook of Apple, you've had some big names in that forum. You guys can name them in the comments. I don't remember all the names off the top of my head. But you had some big names there, all having this super expensive dinner with the Chinese president, President Biden, and others. And overall, for some reason, the next day, could be a mere coincidence, the Twitter or X advertising gets called back, maybe because of freedom of speech. I don't know. I feel bad for Elon Musk. He seems to be fighting many battles. And one of those battles was to have a X sign above his building in San Francisco that was supposedly blinding people. I think that's a battle that's still ongoing. So yes, I do think the sign is overkill, but I think he did it on purpose. Anyway, add to this debate, guys. This is the time to comment what you think. Have we seen the beginning of a trend? Successful CEOs or successful high-ranking positions in these companies speak out against what I call advertiser bullying, or bullying for revenue, where they say, hey, enough is enough. We're not gonna have to be forced or blackmailed or guided or threatened to lose revenue because we don't align with a political agenda. And in some of these cases, I'm sure the political agenda is maybe one is worse than the other, like posting your support for a former president is really on your private page is not really anything substantial versus maybe an anti-Semitic remark or one that's led to be an anti-Semitic remark. Those are two different avenues. However, the results seem to be the same. Someone reaching out to someone saying, pull the plug right now, or you lose me and you lose my revenue source. And that's not okay. And I think you guys will agree with me. Comment below. Let me know. All right. Check out the Ideal Hour podcast. This is a podcast where I have successful people with stories to tell, as well as people that are doing something motivating, health, science related, investing, finance, of course, because Mainly, this is our channel, but people that have a story to tell are people who I've been wanting to come on, and there's quite a few of those individuals. So check out the Ideal Hour podcast. I appreciate the love and support and the subscribe and the like. I'll check you guys here in the next video. Let me know below if Dana White and Elon Musk are the GOATs, or they're just fools trying to battle something that they can't win.